everyone, welcome to Oli Coronets. So today we will be making these Rose Parandis. So I've already made two of the strands. So now I'll show you how to make these. You can customize them with any color you like. So I'm using acrylic yarn and now 3.5 crochet hook. So you're going to start off with a slip knot. You're going to chain 4. So now in your third chain you're going to place 2 double crochets. So now you're going to chain 1, and in this V you're going to go through, yarn over and slip stitch. So now you're going to place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Chain 2 and then slip stitch into the bottom. Now you have 1 chain left. You can slip stitch into this chain, or you can just go around the chain and slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 6. Yarn over into the third chain from the hook. You're going to make another leaf, 2 double crochets into the same stitch, chain 1 and go through this V at the bottom, yarn over, pull up a loop and then go through your first loop. So you've added a slip stitch, and now you're going to place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch, chain 2 and slip stitch into the same stitch. So now I'm going to go through. So now I'm going to go around and slip stitch at the bottom of this leaf. So after your slip stitch, you want to go into the next chain and put in another slip stitch. So now you're going to chain 12. This is how it's going to look at the bottom. So that is why we have added 2 leaves at the bottom, and then I'll show you how to add the rose in. So you're going to chain 12. Now you're going to chain 3. And you're going to add the same leaf pattern. Okay. Now we're going to chain 10. Now there are 2 ways you can do this. One is you can just add your leaves. So you can chain 10 plus 3 for the leaf, and then again chain 10 and add a leaf. So once you've completed your desired length, then you're going to make your roses, and then you can just attach them over here. So that you'll do it by tying your roses in. So another alternative is, so once you've done with 10, now we're going to take the yarn which you're going to use for the rose, and you're going to so now you're going to take the color which you're going to use for the rose and bring it through that chain. You can pull this green yarn to tighten it. You want to chain 13. So now yarn over and into the third chain from the hook you're going to place 3 double crochets all in the same chain. Now into the next chain you're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 1 and go through that V and place a slip stitch, and then in the same stitch you're going to place another double crochet. So this is going to be your pattern. So into the next stitch you're going to place 3 double crochets, into the next chain 2 double crochets, chain 1, place a slip stitch, and then another double crochet into the same stitch. You're going to continue this till the very end. Your one cluster is going to be 3 double crochets, and your second cluster is going to be 2 double crochets, chain 1, add a slip stitch, and then 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. And you will end with a cluster of 3 double crochets. So now in the last chain you're going to add 3 double crochets. So this chain will stretch a bit, so don't worry, we can pull on the end. And now you're going to chain 2. So once you're done with 3 double crochets, chain 2 and slip stitch into the same chain. And now you're going to pull on this tail and tighten that, and just pull on this. Don't cut the yarn yet. So you can see your rose is already starting to curl. So you're going to arrange it. So now you're going to turn the rose, go through this. Okay, make sure your rose is how we want it to be. So now, so you can see these stitches here, those are your chains. You're just going to go through them and through the other side, and now you're going to yarn over. I like to twist it a bit so that it doesn't fall off the hook, and then pull it through, and then you can untwist it. So now you're going to slip stitch, and then come back to the rose and give it a good turn, and see that it's nice and tight. Go back at the, so now you're going to place another stitch and then just tighten it. So now you're going to take your green yarn, you're going to drop your red yarn, pick up your green yarn and go through the red chain, and now give it a good, and now you can pull in your red yarn. Now you can continue with your chains. So I'm going to chain 3. So now I've chained 3, yarn over, you're going to do the same. So chain 3, and now we're going to add in this leaf. So yarn over into the third chain, you're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 1 and then slip stitch, and then place another 2 double crochets, then you're going to chain 2 and slip stitch into the same stitch, and now you're going to go around this and place a slip stitch. Now you're going to continue the pattern. You're going to chain 10 chains, now chain 3, this is for your leaf, yarn over into your third chain, you're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 1, slip stitch, and then another 2 double crochets, and then chain 2, slip stitch around. And then again you're going to continue this. You're going to chain 10, and you can just snip the red off. Wherever you want to add in your rose, you're going to chain 10 and bring in the rose color on the green, and then you're going to chain 13 and you're going to continue the same. You're going to put 3 double crochets in the third chain, and then you're going to add 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then a double crochet in the next stitch. So this is the pattern. So you're going to chain 10 and then plus 3 for your leaf. If you're going to add in the rose, you can bring in the red color and then work in your rose, and then you're going to chain 3, add the leaf, and then again chain 10 plus 3 for the leaf, and you're going to continue. So this is how your pattern is going to be. So I'm going to continue this, and you're going to have something like this, 10 spaces on each plus the last one over here, and plus the last 10 chains. So I have chosen to put 3 roses on each strand. So if you chose this format of attaching the rose directly while working the chain, you can follow it. If not, you can just work in the leaves first. So once your leaves are worked in, so it's again the same format. At the beginning you're going to chain 12 and then plus 3 for the leaf, then chain 10 and then chain 3 more for the leaf and work in the leaf pattern. And you're going to continue this as long as you want it, and then you're going to crochet your rose separately. So your rose is ready. So now we're going to make 2 or 3 of these depending on how many you need for your parandi. Depending on how you're going to follow the first way of adding the rose color into your chains while you're working the parandi, it's easier. So then you just have to give this like 2 knots and just snip it off. If you're using the alternate method of working in your leaves and then adding your parandi, take a smaller crochet hook. I like to lay all of it together to see where I can place my flowers. So you can see here I have 1 rose here, but then so I'm not going to place the same rose here, otherwise I'll have 2 roses in the same row. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 1 rose here and then alternate it. So I have no roses over here, so I'm going to place another rose here, and the same way I have no roses here, so I'm going to place another rose here. So let's add in the rose here. So you're going to take your rose. First you just give it a knot here, So I like to place my rose closer to the leaf. So now we're going to turn this. So your chains, so this is the back of your chains, you can see little bumps. So you're going to take a smaller crochet hook, go through the chain and pull up this. So now you're going to go through another chain and pull up the other tail. Make sure your chain is straight and not twisted. Now you can just tie it. So now I'm just going to take my crochet hook, go through the chain as well. Make sure again your chain is straight and not twisted. You're going to pull through this. Pull it through. Now turn it. Go through the chain and pull this through again. Okay. So now your rose is secure, as well as you're securing this as well. Don't pull it too tight, or else it'll look bulky at the back. Okay. You can just snip it off here, but if you're like me, you can just take it and thread it through a couple of stitches just to secure it. Alternatively, you can even add hot glue if you want, but I just like to ensure it's secure. Then I'm just going to snip it off. You can do the same thing on the other side. So there you go, your rose is attached, and this is how it looks. If you're going to make your roses separately, and then if you want to make your roses separately and then attach it on, so this is how you're going to attach it. And for the one way we attach it while working the chain, all you have to do is, since this is already tight and secure, you're just going to give it a pull and then give it 2 knots. Okay, and you are good to go. And now you can just snip this off, or you can just weave this in. So that's how the back looks, and this is how it looks in front. And when you attach your rose, this is how the back looks, and this is how the front looks. You make 3 of these, and if you only made the leaf strands, then you're going to attach your rose and make 3 of these, and then I'll meet you back and show you how to put them together. So this is my 3rd dory. So before you cut off your yarn, make sure you have a longer strand on this. So now you're going to take the other two. So now you're going to go through the first chain of both these. This is the long strand we left in the beginning. So now yarn over and pull through all three. Okay, now yarn over and pull through one. So you're just putting in a slip stitch and pull that tight. So that's how you attach this. So now you're just going to weave in these ends. So the other two small ones, I'm just going to put one knot. This is how it's gonna look. You're gonna have all three tails. You're gonna weave in these tails. So make sure the longer tail, which is the tail you use to attach all three together, is weaved in nicely so that it doesn't come undone. And then you can just weave in these two or just tie a knot for these two. Story is almost ready. So now we're going to add a rose here on top. So I'm going to use the same rose pattern we used. So you're going to chain 13 and then work your rose. And I'm going to add this rose here on top. So I'm just going to go through this. I've attached my rose on top. So now if you remember, we started with 2 leaves. We're going to add a rose here. But this rose is going to be a real small one. So for these ones, we chain 13. So for the small one, we are going to chain 7. Yarn over, go into the third chain. And 3 double crochets. So you have the small rose. Give this a knot. So once you've added in your rose, before you weave in these ends, place your leaf however you want it to. So here, if you can see, I've placed one at the bottom and one at the side. So you can place them however you want, and with your red yarn, you're just going to go through that and just put it in place so that this doesn't move. So you can see here, I'm just going to leave this in like this. So I'm just going to go through this and through the rose. It's behind the stitch. Not too tight and not too loose as well. and then you're just going to weave this in so that it doesn't, so the leaf doesn't move and it is exactly where you want it to be. And I'm just going to weave in this red yarn through a few stitches. You can also weave in this green end. So the small rose is attached at the bottom and we have weaved in our ends. Beautiful Rose Parandi is ready to be braided into your hair. Thank you for watching Owly Knits. Please do like and subscribe. Bye till next time.